Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to welcome you all again at our series of lectures called Architect Praxi, Architect in Practices. And today our guests are quite special because we have not only one guest, but we have 5 guests together. They are all representatives of architecture studios from Poznań, Poland, and they will explain us something about their work and about what they are doing in their practice. And this kind of some kind of fecha kucha presentation will be as follows in that order. The first explanation, author of the first explanation is Adam Wierciński from Adam Wierciński Architekti. The second one will be MOM Architects. The third one, Atelier Starzak Strebicki. Is that correct? Strebicki. The fourth one, and the last, the fifth one, Ugo Architecture. So please welcome our guests from Poland.
Hello. Thank you for the invitation. This is my first public presentation and first in English, so I hope that it will be okay. My name is Adam Wierciński. I graduated architecture at the University of Arts in Poznań in 2011. After 2 years of different work, I got my first commission, of course, from my family. It was house extension. And I decided to set up my small office and try to working on my own. I got funding from our municipal program for funding for first business. So I set up my office and we are working with a broad range of projects of different types and scales, from buildings to small objects, even furniture. So I would like to show you today 5 different types of projects that were designed and completed within the last 2 years, and one is under construction. So we will start from the smallest one, and it's very important project for me because it was first that I was responsible for everything, also with realization. It's a denture repairs point with area only of 10 square meters. So this is this small room before renovation. The main task for this project was to how to divide this small room into a working zone for dental technician and customer waiting area. So this diagram shows our design process. So we divided this small room with partition wall. We cut entrance to the workspace, also cut customer service windows. We didn't want to divide this room for 2 different rooms, but we wanted to create open space with some division. So these cuts created half of a medical cross shape. We wanted to create also some sign visible from the street, so we reflected this shape on the wall, and it created this medical green cross visible from the outside. These are photos from the iron workshop installation, and this is the result. So this partition wall is a steel frame filled with polycarbonate panels that allow to and let the sunlight to the work zone, and these two zones can be separated by curtain. So these are these two situations. And view from this work zone, it's very bright inside. This is view from the street. We also always in our project try to make a lot of details referring to the main concept. This is view from the street. Okay. Another project, second, was bar in the center of Poland, in the basement of an old tenement house. This is before the renovation. This place was left for a couple of years and was in a very bad condition. So before we start thinking about the design, we cleaned it up, and brick walls and brick floors and wooden floors showed up. So we decided to leave this original look and only design some scenography and design steel additions, independent structures into this interior. So we put 4 steel boxes inside. The first one opposite the entrance is box with a bar. It's steel structure with rusted metal sheets and steel mesh. The second box on the right side is seating and storage frame. The seating is also of our design, and it's leather rollers. We made a lot of tries with upholsterer before we made a comfortable sitting. Also, lights are on the cranes, and everything is on these steel structures. Only wires are on the old walls. Another smaller box is hanger, and we also designed this furniture for this bar, so we made a lot of details inside. This is the second room. The biggest structure is in this room. There are 2 steel frames on the opposite walls, and they are connected with steel bridge with lights. Also created this mirror. So view from evening. A lot of details. We designed a lot of details. It was also on the street. During the summer, the parking places are turned in cafe gardens. We also designed these flower pots and elevation grills and tables to make an advertisement to show what's inside. So if you will be in Poznań, you please feel invited. The latest completed project is dental clinic of area of 83 meters. This is a plan before the renovation. It's in old building that was renovated, and 2 supporting walls was left inside, and we couldn't remove it, so we only could make holes to make a corridor for our function. So So this axonometry shows our division of the walls inside. We created bright medical space with some characteristic vertical divisions and that appear in different rooms in different forms. So in the reception we designed reception desk there are steel razors filled with mirrors. There are a lot of mirrors in this project. It's a very hard installation. Okay, this is view from the outside, and you see this first vertical pattern inside. So also in the toilet for customers, this vertical pattern appeared as ceramic tiles on the wall, the same as on the floor, with mirrors. So when patient is, these mirrors create very interesting reflections inside. So patient can feel dizzy before meeting with dentist. Also on the corridor there's some accent with this pattern. So treatment rooms are arranged along facade with windows, and we have to divide these two rooms. They should have at least 12 square meters. So we had to put this tilt partition wall because of the corner window and entrances to the rooms. But in the second room, the second room wasn't so bright as the first one. So we again created wall like in this first small project. It was steel structures with polycarbonate panels that let smooth sunlight to this interior. So this is production and installation. It was very heavy. So this is the result. This room is, even if it's small, but it's very bright, because on the background, back this wall, there is a big window. And in the first room, it works like a mirror because it reflects a light from the window. So by this design, we made these two small rooms much brighter. This is view from the outside in the evening, so it's quite interesting from the sidewalk. Interiors are very bright and sterile, only with some orange accents. We made these details. The names of the rooms are cut in a raw metal sheet. So details from the reception desk. Okay, another project. This is first residential project, first house. It's under construction right now. Our clients now live in terrace house, and they are surrounded by neighbors that peer into their windows and look into terrace, and their first commission was to feel more privacy in this house. So they came with this plot. This is very, very beautiful plot, but surrounded with some Polish typical houses with complicated pitch roofs. On the south side there's a field, and here we have a plot that nobody can buy because it's a water supplier's plot. So this is on the plot before construction. So we created a long, narrow block that was pushed to the north border of the plot. There's a big wall without windows, so we could make 3 meters to this border. Then we added some block of garage, which separates this private area from the only neighbor from the southeast side. So this house is long and narrow, so it has south facade is long to accumulate more sun energy. And this is the final shape of the building. So we created this, we wanted to use this height of the building on the back wall. So we created mezzanines in kids' rooms above the corridor and extra storage space. We can see it here. So the plans are quite simple. There's open space living room on the ground floor. The sleeping and living function is arranged linear with this south facade. So this is this north elevation. It's quite interesting. Visualizations from the front. The elevation will be finished in simple materials, dark plaster, corrugated metal on the garage, and to reduce costs, we will only use partially wood on the south elevation. So it's construction progress. I make photos from the same place every time. And now this is final result as for now. And this is beautiful view from the bedroom. And another and last, our biggest project was container art. It's container art from 2015. So this is the plot before we started working. It's a very popular container city in the center of Poznań, near by the Warta River. It is built every year during summer from 2008 for 5 months, from early spring to the end of summer. And we had the situation that this block, a couple of containers left from previous editions. We couldn't remove it or move because they were welded with each other. So we use it as base for our new arrangement. We started to adding all of the new containers at the angle of 90 degrees and moving each between. So we created big building surrounding this area. It was also our client idea to close this space more than in previous years because of many reasons. and this perpendicular moved containers gave us an idea to paint only south and north facades of this building to be more visible from the walking and cycling path, because the renting containers are in grey, so we only could paint half of the facades, so we reduced this cost of this painting a lot. So this is this rule that you see object from one side and it's orange, and from the other side it's all grey. So from these small models it came to reality. This is view from the south, view from the north. It's arranged along this walking path, so when people coming to this object, they see it as orange building. So this is interiors. There's a lot of things to do, a lot of workshop, concerts, bars. Is very popular place during the summer. So in the central point of this plot there is that tree, and we surrounded it with big pallet islands of different heights to create tables and seating. This is rooftop bar. We also added solar panels on the rooftop to produce some energy for this object. This is gallery. So as we see also in social media, this project is very popular. Not project, but this space for people. This is my favorite photo that shows characteristic plans of our city. And that's all. Dziękuję.
Dobry wieczór. We are MOM Architects. We are very happy to be here. My name is Piotr, this is my colleague Michał, and we represent half of our team. The other half is keeping itself busy at the office as we speak. We started together as a group around about 2 years after we finished university. Before that, we all worked in different architectural companies, and we started almost at the same time when we started to study architecture. We started MOM Architects in the middle of economic crisis, and it wasn't that bad for the country as a whole, but it was definitely felt by our profession. So it made it even more obvious for young guys like us to concentrate our efforts on architectural competitions and seek our chances there. This gave us the opportunity to present our work to the others and also gain the experience that we wanted to use in the future. Because of this urge for experience, every time we wanted to do another competition, we always wanted for it to be something else. So there was a school complex, an old fortifications, an airport, some urban spaces, some housing buildings and others. In total we took part in 13 competitions, most of those in the first 2 years of our work together. And we won some prizes and mentions in 9 of those competitions. Unfortunately, none of those prizes was the first place. There even was a moment when we won three second prizes in a row in 3 competitions. So it really stopped being funny for us. But fortunately, there was this good thing that came out of one of those competitions, and it fueled our work moving forward. After some time we gained some confidence and this great feeling that we really started to know what we are doing. We specialized in housing architecture and urban spaces, and this is what we are doing right now. Today we would like to fast forward through some of our previous works and concentrate on one particular place that occupies our minds the most at the moment.
Okay, my name is Michał. It's really nice to be here in Brno. I've got good feelings about Czech, especially because of that I was a co-author and co-creator of a Polish national exhibition for Prague Quadriennale, which took place last year. We have to answer for the topic which was nature, music and politics, and we've done an installation. It was audio installation. We gathered data, weather data, and we transformed it to audiosphere, and also we transformed something like Polish romantics into the sound which you can hear in your head via the bone conduction transducer. I'm only saying that because it was a big success for us, and this took place here in Czech. And this was a big thing because Poland we've got with this exhibition the gold medal. The gold medal goes for Poland after 36 years when Górawski and Grotowski got the prize, and this was a big thing. Like Peter said on the beginning, when we go back to Poland, to Poznań, to our team. We've got only the second prizes. We haven't won any competition, and also this was the same story with this building which we can see here. It was a social activization center in Koziegłowy near Poznań. So we've got the second prize. We didn't know if we've got to be happy about this or not. It took, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks or something that the competition organizer called us, and he said he wanted to talk with us about another project. And this is time when the new chapter has opened for us with the second prize, and from this time we used to say that when you... Okay.
Sometimes to win you have to lose. This is what we started saying. And, this is a small town, Přímá. It's located on the north side of Poznań. As you can see, or you can. Okay. This is Přímá, and it administers this quite large region, mostly northern from the city. But in the last couple of decades, it was overgrown by a small village called Koziegłowy. It's 13,500, 14,000 people living there right now, and there is only 5,500 people living in Czerwonek. This happened mainly because Koziegłowy are located right next to Poznań. Actually, it's very difficult to say where the Poznań ends and where the Koziegłowy begin. So it created an obvious problem with communication, because every day people are commuting from Koziegłowy to work in Poznań. And this problem is also fueled by the lack of commercial services in Koziegłowy. Every time you want to go to a hairdresser, drink a good coffee or have a nice meal, you have to go south to Poznań. And our investor owns a small plot right in between Czerwonek and Koziegłowy. It's here. And he wanted to build houses here. But he knew what the problem is, so he asked us to prepare a master plan that would be based on a local zoning plan that was already there, and to present it in front of town hall officials. And immediately after we started working on the project, we saw that there are some big flaws in the local zoning plan. The main one, as you can see here, this is a very vast space reserved for the main road that was supposed to go from Koziegłowy to Czerwonek. And at the same time, there was this place that was supposed to become a square. Unfortunately, everybody thought about this place like a regular road. And the worst thing was that the plans for it were already made, so we had to act very fast to reverse this. The other problem was that this plot here, it was made for commerce, but it wasn't specified. So the truth was that if somebody wanted to, he could build a Lidl or Aldi, like the standard store, that would become most important place, the dominant for the whole part of this new center for the city. And the other problem was that the local plan left the decision to investors if they want to use the ground floors for commerce or to build houses from the ground to the top. We proposed to preserve this square space in the middle. It was, of course, difficult because of the road that was supposed to cross right through it. And we decided to propose a kind of a gradation. And the eastern part was supposed to be more intimate and green. In the middle we wanted to make a more vibrant space for cafes and restaurants, a kind of a city square. And on the west side it was supposed to be a city market. We decided that it would be a great place for a city hall and office buildings with some banks and post office on the ground floor. So this is how our plan looks. As you can see, it's a kind of a square that this whole area is missing, because the Koziegłowy are actually, it's almost only apartment blocks. And Czerwonek is a small town, and it can't give those important functions to these loads of people that are living in Koziegłowy. The main problem was the road, so we decided to redesign it, and we did it with principles of the shared space. We put some parking spots in between the cars, and we elevated the intersections, and we also left some space for the bike lanes. And the great thing is that it was already put into plan, and this is how the road is going to look in the future. This is the view of the road, of the shared space, and some views of the square, the town hall. The view from the town hall at the square. And The next step for us was designing these buildings on the plot that belongs to the investor, and we actually finished a very thorough concept. So we are prepared to do the building permit project, and we are waiting for a signal to start.
The second project we've done in Kozigłowy Czerwonak area is the master plan of the housing estate. This is the view from the plot. This is our colleague. They're drinking coffee. Maybe they're doing the same now. We don't know. This is the whole view. We were seduced by the view, and this is the most important thing in this plot. And I will hold the project. I will talk about this beautiful view. So this is the delicate slope. From the top of this slope you can see the panorama of Poznań and Warta River Valley. On the beginning we decided to, and also was a big privilege for us to now. Okay. To design it because of the investor. They didn't want to make a very dense housing real estate. They wanted to divide it into the park. It should be a sport park and recreation park. The second is the housing part, and the third part is the existing building that we got to keep. So this is this most important view. Okay, so we want to show it. Whole the Poznań and the green valley. Okay. Next. Okay, and what we were thinking about. Okay, so we didn't want to put the building across the slope because in this position we will cover the views, and there will be no extra value. So the decision was to put the buildings along the slope. The second very important move for me was to do the on the west side the one-story building that you can see across it, and the third move was to make a bridge link and the gap on the ground floor that you can see through from the park. We've cut the buildings into the section to give the right amount of sunlight into the flats. Connecting those two courtyards give the good feeling of coziness in the space. There's the views from the flats and the communication on this area. The section, you can see here the slope, how it's going down. Here it's the bridge construction. You can see really through it and see the view. This is the second section. Here we are in the park, and really you can see through all this area, and you can see the view here. Okay, and that's how it looked like. The park on the top and whole housing estate. And this is the last slide from it, and with this view between the buildings. Would you like to add something to this?
So we go to the park now. This is what we saw when we first came to the plot. It's actually the plot next to the other one. So it was mainly grass and some low trees. After some time, the investors cleaned the terrain, so we could see how it's really going down, and so we could make the real measurements that we could use in the project. So we designed this park with one main principle. We wanted to keep all the noisy stuff close to the road, and the quiet ones closer to the buildings. So the main thing that you can see right away is this skate park with basketball court and the running loop. Actually, it's accurately 400 meters long, so it's the same as the regular stadium. And then you have those places when you can work out. Made some place for the kids and some place for the elderly to play bulls and to walk along the platans. This is a dense birch tree forest. So there are many places in this park. This is how it slopes down. This is the highest part, the one that we wanted to elevate even a little more to give the better view at Poznań. And this is how it looks in axonometry in context with the buildings. And some views. If we are lucky, we will be able to see the trees looking like this, because those are the platans and they grow very long, so we have to wait. After we made this project, we had a meeting with the local community and we heard their voices, and we implemented some of their ideas in the project. This is it happened after the small trees were cut down, so most of those people saw these views for the first time because they never went there. The first step was leveling the ground, so we made this part of the project. The terrain was leveled. We have one drawing that we couldn't put into JPEG because it was too heavy for Photoshop, so we have to. This was another time when we started to learn something new, because we never did something like this, but this is how the design of planting looks like. It's one of the heaviest drawings we ever did, as you can see. And last time I went there, last time I checked, the trees were already there, so we are one step forward. This slope is, of course, it's not permanent. It's just for the time of the planting. So this is the last part of this project. This is how the first building of this master plan is going to look like. We changed it pretty heavily, but this is very typical for us. We tend to do things over and over again. So I think it's gonna be one of the first, or the first building in Koziełowie with underground parking, which is pretty important because all those thousands of people are parking their cars on the streets right now. And we decided to make a variety of different apartments. Also because the investor had this need, even for some big apartments. It's not pretty usual to design an apartment that is bigger than 3 rooms, and we had this chance to do this here. We've got those open balconies from the south and closed balconies from the north. So it looks like we finished, so thank you very much. Skate park. Okay, one more thing.
Okay, the 5th project from this whole Koziegowo area is the skate park. We took the challenge to design skate park. We haven't designed skate parks before. This is the screenshot from our park project. We just wanted to have a nice concrete form, something more like sculpture. You can skate on it, but we haven't any idea how to skate, so we just want to have a nice form. We didn't want to give the project to someone else, because most of skate park in Poland looks like that, like simple boxes put on the place. And we took the challenge to design it. So the town hall, after we say okay, we can do this. They wanted us to divide the project into 2 parts. First is the skate park, and the second is the basketball court, because of the building. They want first in the first stage building the skate park, and the second, after some time, the basketball court. So we thought we've got to separate in this way that it can look in the first stage also like a complete project. So we started doing this simple idea model, maybe with those 3 rings, and we thought, okay, if we move together this ring with the basketball court, also it can looks like the right composition. So we in the middle it was this stage of this with this. Okay, with this red line, you can see how it would look like with this the first stage, and after a year or 2, if we put this basketball court, it will be full composition. But we haven't any idea how to skate, how it works. So after I was digging and searching about skate parks, I found a man, Marcin Bacaduch, is a pro skater. He built himself 2 skate parks in Warsaw, and we started to collaborate. That's our tool of communication, the messenger. He was in Warsaw, we're in Poznań, so we used to work like this. And now the skate parks look like that. It's a totally functional skate park with the whole skate parks need, with the mini ramp, with this balls and quarter pipes and everything, which is really in skate park, and it's really functional. And it's gonna look like this, and we will end up with the California style, fully functional and skateable skate park. So that's the whole.
How do you turn? Good. Can you hear us? Can we speak without the microphone? Ah, that's great. Okay, good. So, we are the next one. Next one's giving the short lecture. And as the other ones, we are as well a small office, run by Jola and run by me. We started in 2011 when Jola opened the office up, and I joined her in 2012. We will show you 5 projects, and the button doesn't really work well like this. Then we do like this. So this is how our office looks like. So we try to keep it at least a little bit clean and quite nicely. We sit in the attic. Of course, we use everything what we can use to test the things that we need to do. So these are the drawings that we were making for an exhibition that we are doing. And it was a little bit of chaos. And as an office, we enjoy to make models. So we do them quite a lot. And as you can see, we use the space multifunctionally. I think it's not the right English pronunciation. Okay, so as I said, 5 projects. This is the reference to the first one. It's the Katsura Villa in Kyoto. So what we find very interesting is that you have all these sliding doors and the space become multifunctional or multi-interpretable. And that's something that interests us. And we done the first interior, and the client said, yes, okay, you can do the things with the sliding doors. So to the next clients, we show the first project, and it started to do like this. So we show you the last interior we finished, and it's in Poznań. It's 86 square meters. It's a newly built developer's housing on the 7th floor. And our client lives alone, so it can be quite relatively more extreme than you live with your family. And one of the things that we tried to convince her, because she was afraid that she won by accident once during wine, she told us, I like to eat in a bathtub. Yeah, okay, then you need to have your kitchen quite close to the bathtub and you need to have direct connection. No, I don't want that. But in the end we convinced her she's happy. Yeah. No, she's very happy about the apartment with by the. So we entered plus minus on this stage of the project, so we could decide ourselves where the developer will put the walls. So at certain moment the client was asked by the developer, where do you want to have your walls? She came to us, where I want to have my walls, and we sent him the drawing. So yeah, please do not do your walls for us. So we left only the chimneys that are for ventilations coming from the other flats below, and the rest of the apartment we kept completely empty. This is with all the walls built by him and with the division between what it's kind of the living floor like you have here with the floor in the auditorium here and the more wet zones, because she always says I really drop water everywhere. So in my wet zones I want to have this. There is no floor heating, so that's why wooden floors where you walk without your shoes and without slippers, let's say. The rest is made by the furniture, which is in 3 soft colors and birch multiplex. And this is the view, let's say, from the living room into the kitchen, and this dividing wall between what one could say is the private and the public part. And when you go to the next one, yes. So you slide the door open and you have the wardrobe and the bedroom, and on the other side, what you saw already in a way, the bathroom. So this dividing wall, which you see here on your left, at the moment it divides the house into the, let's call it more private, more public. So where you invite your guests and you can have them, you slide everything completely closed and they can see it. But when you're alone, you can slide out everything open and you just have your dinner almost in your bathroom, one could say. So this is the plan, the end plan. You see here the dividing wall with the space for the TV, let's say, the dinner, the kitchen, the bathroom, the wardrobe, and the bedroom. And there is of course a direct link between everything, so you can make really the aids and walk completely around. So this is the view from the bedroom into the living room. I'm sitting on the couch at the moment there, and we have this kind of L wall which opens up, which gives you the entrance to the bathroom. When the doors are closed, it looks like this. When the doors are open, it looks like that. The kitchen is kind of giving you a certain amount of enclosure as well, so it's kind of making it in itself a room, which is open of course, which you see here back. The dining space, the bathroom from it, and in the other direction, the living room and the connection to that. And that was the first project.
The second project which we are going to show is again also based on some references. Always when we start some project we collect many references to just discuss the direction we will go and the ideas. And the project we got invited for was the design of furniture and for a public building. So what we thought would be nice that the general idea for this project would be like kind of freedom and flexibility, but at the same moment quite strict system which will allow us to occupy a quite big building with many different types of furniture. So at the same moment the image of the office of Sverfen came to our mind, so this was our basic image.
And Sverfen is the architect of the Nordic Pavilion at the Biennale around Univerzit. I don't know if everybody knows, but it is.
And the building we were supposed to design the furniture for is National Audiovisual Institute in Warsaw, in shortcut Nyní. So keeping in mind this image of the Sverfen's office, we focused on many different types of spaces, especially many office spaces. So we said, okay, let's start with a simple desk, the desk which will be possible to combine together and split separately, and depending on the needs and types of people working in this space, they can use it the way they want. Since there was not so much money for prototypes, we decided to do our own prototypes just from cardboard, and in this way we were testing all kinds of proportions and heights and comfort, the comfort of working space. And then the same cardboard models were just copied in multiplex, and they work very well. But the office spaces is just a small part of this building. In total, it's I think 2,000 square meters filled with different functions. Some of them are public, some of them are very private, and they are visual rooms to copy movies and films, and just very secret spaces for internal use. So these office and desk spaces are used in many different ways, but in collaboration with the desks go cupboards, little cupboards, and many different objects, also like foyer and entrance lobby zone, and as well very specific furniture which we did in black because that was the request of the clients. These are the rooms where really they work on different types of corrections of movies and cultural films. But there is also a media deck with tables, again from white multiplex, but the tables which we call internally wild tables. The carpenter in fact invented this name, but the crazy shape comes from the function, because each of the spaces with a computer was supposed to be very far from another place, and since there were only 4 sockets for electricity in this whole room, we had to combine them around 4 huge tables. So that's where the shape comes from. And of course, with this kind of project, the great experience and experiment is in between the collaboration of the architect and the carpenters and all kinds of craftsmen. So luckily, we got a very, very, very nice team of 4 brothers who are running a wooden workshop, and they were really they fall in with us for this project, and we were really experimenting with construction, with amount of legs, and with the way we can make this kind of like spider net of legs to give a comfortable place to sit and to allow everybody, even very tall people, not to like hit their knees with some kind of like bottom construction under the table. And then many times going to the workshop and checking everything, discussing and improving all the little details. And finally, I think we did more than 40 different types of furniture, like repeatable furniture, which furnished the whole building. But since the interior of the building was until the last moment, we didn't know what kind of colors they will use, because the first idea was of the interior designer was like black and red, so that's why we did like white furniture. We got really scared about this black and red. But at the end, the client said we don't want this black and red, so they did it all gray and white. So then we thought like, okay, the furniture looks very neutral. There's a lot of white things. So the last touch of this set of furniture were the couches, which appeared in all kinds of spaces. And the couches are just this movable mobile object, which there's 80 of them in 5 different types, and you can combine them in any kind of configuration. And they are just traveling to the whole building, and depending on the need, they serve sometimes very official meetings, discussions, some film festivals. But sometimes they are used for children workshops and much more like internal meetings. They are just like kind of little cherries traveling through the whole building. And the same concept we took also to the outside by adding some colorful pillows on the wooden terrace on the outside of this building, so people can really sit there like nicely, softly, and enjoy and reconfigure the whole set of furniture.
And at certain moments when we came back to Poland, we got a chance to work in public space, to work on what you could call city theater. So, of course, we were educated as architects, we worked always as architects, and we were never doing public space. But we got the chance, and from that on, there started to come other assignments as well concerning that. And last year, this spring we realized this, and we opened this. This is the public courtyard of the City Hall in Poznań, where 2 years ago, approximately 2 years ago, it was looking like this. And the change came when the new president or the new mayor of the city got elected. So the old one didn't get re-elected, the new one, he didn't want to have their cars. He wanted to make out of this a public space, so he took the decision to take out the cars, but they did not approach back then as yet. So quite soon people are impatient, as we know. So it started appearing, and what now? It's empty. What we will do now? So they, for some reason, we don't know why, but they called us to help them. So we supported them to realize this type of projects, or with the trees, with the greenery and movable furniture, which makes out this, I think at least, I hope at least, quite pleasant public space. As you could have seen, we work a lot with models. The furniture, the mobile furniture, it's cut on the angles so you can make a really amphitheater out of it. They want to make there as well public meetings, or they do their public meetings. The bigger scale model around the tree pot with the two sitting places where approximately around 10 people can sit at the same moment, and you can see here the cutted corners. Sometimes the prototypes are very simple to test the heights and how you will sit on this. And that is some pictures of the reality, how people are using it during the last summer. Probably somebody important on the other side of the picture. Out of the picture, one could say better maybe. So this is kind of the tribune. So you sit here down, you can sit there up. This is during one of the events. Some of the pictures I just found on the internet by us, so they are not done by us ourselves, or not acted, let's say. So these are just the situations that really happened there. And yeah, this is the big how it looks from above. There's as well a big bench around the existing greenery which was there. And this was the first year and it was quite good.
Another project is not really design, but it's more kind of research by design strategy. So this is again our reference image for it, which shows a little bit the meaning of a place and the meaning of a scale and of searching for a different kind of scales in a bigger surface and a bigger surrounding. It's a beautiful work of Michael Seidolfer. If you have a chance to see more of his work, it's really worth to see it. In spring, we got invited for a competition for a very strange space. I don't know how many of you have been to Brussels in the European Parliament, but they invited us to design some kind of temporary furniture, temporary objects which will stand in the space, this public space in front of the entrance of the European Parliament. This is this space. By accident we also discovered it has a Polish name. It's called Esplanada Solidarność, which we didn't know. And what the European Parliament decided to do, they decided to open a competition for like a project which will run for 1.5 years and is supposed to check what are the requirements of this space. So by using temporary architecture, they want to finalize a brief for a more long-term interventions in this space. The space looks like this. So it's a kind of grey, very long, very windy space, of course full of rules and full of security rules especially. So it's not very friendly space. By inhabitants of city of Brussels, it's also not a spot you would go to. And we just decided that we are not going to design anything, in fact, that we will use already objects which are very common and very typical for public spaces in Belgium, Holland and France. And we just kind of created a system, a kind of toolbox which is supposed to check the behavior of the space and behavior of people. So by using simple chairs, simple tables, some pots with greenery and steel connections, we wanted to kind of establish a system which is supposed to be kind of a test tryout for the space. Of course, thinking about the space and if it's supposed to be gray or in color, we always try to find like kind of reasonable decisions about this kind of more aesthetical issues. And then immediately the image came to our mind of barcode flag of European Union created a few years ago by OMA. They ran this project, Brussels, capital of Europe, and they invented this flag which was never used by European Union, but in fact it was designed for them. And using this image, we convinced the European Union Parliament also to use different colors of these chairs, which are just like typical product, like a kind of IKEA product. And by these objects, we could create 4 different scenes, 4 different types of objects. So we have like circular objects, which are going to be placed like in loose islands, loose circles. You could go inside of them, you could sit outside of them. There will be objects which are attached to existing objects. There will be objects placed in different groups, like little islands, tables mixed with chairs and greenery. And there will be objects in lines, which are also supposed to check the space. We started to explore this project and execute this project in July this year, and in August 1st of the layouts was placed in this area. Of course, it's also summer, so there's more people, but we, together with a sociologist, we observed the space and we really try to understand what people enjoy and also how they behave. So if they sit in the circle, which is more kind of introvert, they behave differently. If they sit in the circle, which is more extrovertly placed, they also behave differently. But definitely there is more people stopping by for a longer period of time, and they definitely enjoy some green objects, which was the big issue because we got email from the parliament that 4 big men can take out the greenery, put a bomb inside, and then there will be another terroristic attack in Brussels. So there are all these little things even.
But thank God everybody went on holidays.
Yeah, but then they went
came
on
back
holiday and they forgot about this problem. That's how it works. But still, it's very interesting also for us to observe this very simple interventions, how they can change the space, but also how they can define the scale of the space. Because finally, people have some kind of reference of human figure, human scale. And maybe this will help also to like make this space more friendly and give people this image of European Parliament as more kind of city public space.
Okay, the last project is not realized project. We recently started to work on a school building. We'll see a picture in a second. So this is once again a reference to it. The Giuseppe Terrani Sant'Evia School in Como. Terrani, of course, know probably from Casa del Faccio. This is one of other buildings that we built in Como, and we enjoy a lot the courtyard, the spaces, how the simplicity makes as well the poetics of it. Like how it defines the different atmospheres in the spaces. It's incredibly enjoyable for us. So it was kind of hanging there when we were doing this competition for a school in Belgium. And this is our image of the school that we started to work on it with 3 of our friends, which are living in Brussels. It's in the region 10 kilometers south from Brussels itself, in Dilbeek. And Dilbeek, it's kind of a region which is called in Flemish Pajottenland, where Bruegel was mostly making his paintings there. So it's quite hilly as for those lowlands countries area. But as everywhere in Europe we know it, this is a picture. There are still some images where it can be taken a picture like that. But of course the suburban housing is not there. So it is more in this, it's on the edge of these two things where the school itself positions it. So here we have the suburban neighborhoods around it, and here small piece still to this Pajottenland that we are connected. And it's incredibly nice that the site itself is incredibly green still. So of course we took it as an advantage and we tried to use everything which was there from those kind of things for the project that we have made. So you have a double colonnade of the trees, which you see there. It was planted, I think, around the year 2000, and we made a building around it. We just copied the double colonnade and we put the building just slightly next to it. Oops. Sorry. As well using the bushes which were there. It was defining kind of the private or public zones. They want to open the terrain as well in the weekends that somebody else can use it, so the building doesn't come to the front. And there were many reasons to come to those conclusions. So this is a model picture of the building, and you can see the double colonnade and how the building windows around the trees and adjusted itself to the side. A picture from this double colonnade of the trees which is there. And of course, it will be visible from the windows of the classes. So it provides the shadow in the summer when it's needed, the shadow. And there are these are the trees with leaves, flowers, or leaves the leaves for the winter. So in the winter it lets the sun through. So we work in this kind of not heating up too much the building, so we don't need to have cooling there. Of course, it took us quite some time to come to this conclusion. We work as well with 3 small offices on that, so we were discussing in the house. But in the end, it comes to that. So from very formalistic shape where we started with a circle or a square or a cross, it's adding the program and reading the program, reading the site, and coming to the conclusions about this. We are responsible, together with the landscape architect, Adam Wierciński, for the landscape design. So we drew a very simple path through the existing tree zones. We added new tree zones and the 4 new entrances, all of them different, so the children have this experience of, for example, apple trees there. As well, this is kind of a football field with the 2 goals out of the trees, which are vertical, they are quite chosen. And then you have the main entrance with the grid of trees, where the children will daily come into it. So we enjoy very much, once again, in the summer. It provides you shadow, in the winter it changes in the autumn it changes the color, in the winter it has the sun through. This is Duisburg North, the Amsterdam Park, which is incredibly beautiful, and we will have some signs of this. So once again, by this image, and by this we end the lecture. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is and I've started working with my friends. Just recently, last year, we opened our office, but actually formally we started this year, so we're very young and our body of work is very small, so I won't take up much of your time, as I'm sure you're very tired now. Shortly, our name is Wartość Dodana, which means added value in Polish. And that's more or less what we seek in our projects, so finding something more from a composition of many things. And we focus on the simplest and smallest piece in architecture, which is the house for now, and the smallest unit of urbanism, which is the street and the square. We are a small team of 3 people. We have just a couple, 3 construction sites at the moment. So first the houses. So this is our first project, which is under construction right now. It is a single-family home for a client, and each house obviously comes with a problem, and this one had a lot of problems. So the first one is a very weird site which has a triangular shape. And it's quite small, but the client requested a huge house, and we had a lot of planning restrictions, a lot of fights with the local municipality with it. So what were our solutions? With such a huge house and a small site, we wanted to break the form up into 3 parts. So a private part with an overhang, a living space which we wanted to highlight in a different material, technical space, and in between a large hallway with a glass atrium to accentuate the size. But since the site is small, we needed to find some large views, and that's why we decided to go with the skylight. We decided to use the diagonals of the site and try to choreograph some movement between narrow spaces and large spaces and create terraces and such, so to maximize the variety within the house. And some dents and some pieces of the form come from the actual planning restrictions and analyzing sun shading and such. So this is the plan. It tries to follow the site as much as it can, and it tries to utilize the diagonal views to create some interesting views for the clients. We, as our predecessors, we like to work in models, some handmade, some 3D printed, and this is the form that we arrived at. This was the first concept, and this is how it looked like 1.5 months ago. And this is how it looks like last week. So we still got a bit to go. The brick part will be covered in wood, and the rest, unfortunately, due to cost cutting, will be in just rendered. It was supposed to be better material, but oh well. The next house is an exercise in simplicity and in materiality. So totally different plot, virtually no context, just one house next to it. So also the clients had very strict needs, as in what spaces they want, and they wanted a very small, not a very small house, but a pretty small house with a lot of different rooms, low energy consumption, and they wanted to build it in a very short time frame. So we decided to do a simple, iconic house shape, but work more with the interior and create a double space void inside with stairs open to it to create something more interesting, and to work with materials to create, to use better materials, higher quality materials on the lower side of the house, on the ground floor, and cut the costs above. And we decided to use a prefabricated wooden construction to have it built fast, have it built cheap, and it worked well with our higher energy needs and with this simple form. So we tried to divide it into two halves to have more of an open plan with this, maybe not so open because they requested really a large amount of rooms with really small space, so it was hard to grasp, but we opened it as much as possible with the stairs open to the void. And we tried to give back a bit of their side to the road to start maybe creating some context and maybe some example for others to follow what they built. So again, a couple of work in progress models we did, and you can see the void here. And right now we are past planning, and they are pouring our plate foundations, I think tomorrow, and it should be built within 3 months due to the process of prefabricated construction. So they're doing our prefab modules as we speak in the factory. And as for the materials, we use a special, maybe not a special, but a fiber cement type of material with vertical lining, so we can get pretty subtle effect of light and shade on the elevation and have something a little nicer to the touch. So this is our third house, which is again totally different. Right now it's in the planning stage. And here we had another problematic site at the end of another site, also in a highly densely populated area and with existing structures on it. And the client wanted a really huge house, so we had to work with that. So to combat that, we decided to demolish a bit of the existing structure and leave some of it to use as a garage and create a form that's made out of 4 interlocking similar elements around one central atrium, which is again a motif we like to use. And naturally, the spaces in between the interlocking modules create larger openings. And on the first floor, we convinced them to have a more smaller rooms with more efficiency in the space. So naturally, we got some terraces out of it, and the form resultant. So this is the quite large ground floor with a glass link between the technical part and the main space centered around the atrium and open plan stairs. And here on the second floor we have a simpler division between the children's bedroom, then vertically we have all the bathrooms and services, and then we have the master bedroom on the right. And again, we worked with the form, and this is still something that can change. We will see at the planning stage, and these are just some visuals of what it might end up looking like, but we will see. So the next thing we're interested in, second thing, is urbanism and small units, like I said, the street and the square. So this is the first project I would like to show you. It's a competition which we got an honorable mention only. So this is a very special street in Poznań. It's called Staczaka, and it's a place that's home to alternative, let's say, hipster culture. And that's part of the problem, because there's a big discrepancy between what the culture the young people want and what the people want that live there. So that was one of the problems. Of course, too much parking space and not enough spaces for the businesses. My first friend Adam's project is actually on Staczaka Street, so the źródło bar thing is there. So what we decided to do is to have a very simple approach, an approach in 3 steps. The first one was to create a very flexible shared space grid. The second one was to create a furniture system that would fit into the points of intersection of this grid. And then maybe a larger scale urban integration as something that would come along after that. So the first step, of course, leveling the street for the shared space to work best, and have a modular grid with the main module being 5 meters to fit car parkings, and dividing the street into 4 equal parts, so we can have 1 car lane and 4 meters plus something for people to walk and for the businesses. And in the points of intersections, you have spaces for the street furniture, and these are basically designed as sockets that you can plug in any module of the street furniture, but they also work as points where the water is gathered and taken outside of the site. So that's the vision for the street furniture. So we also tried to keep the costs relatively low. So the base module is made out of, was to be made out of steel sections, 8 by 8 centimeters, painted and just welded together with pieces of wood, because there are some existing street pieces of furniture there that we tried to use to also keep the costs down. And our main module, our main piece, was this tree-like sunshade thing that was supposed to give the new feel and serve multiple functions. So it looks complex, but it is quite simple. It's made out of these 4 identical pieces made out of, again, 80 millimeters painted steel pipe and just plywood. It's rotated around and connected together to create this sunshade, but it's not only a sunshade, it gathers people around so that the people who eat, drink, whatever, are not visible that much topside from for people living there. And it also works as lighting, so it keeps the light pollution low, because it shines down and tries to stop light going up. And it also could serve various functions if the local businesses wanted to install solar panels or install other things. It was made to accommodate that. And you can see how it fits into the grid with these points, and into the sockets, how the water should be taken off site. So that was to be the effect. And the larger scale integration was also quite an important part, because the street could become a part of a long pedestrian walkway and an alternative culture walkway connecting to an existing walkway next to the Apollo Theater, which is called Passage Apollo, and you also have very nice alternative shops there. And we could basically create a long walkway starting at almost at the train station, basically up to the old market, and it would be a walkway, slow pedestrian walkway perpendicular to the fast concentric streets of Poznań. So the last project I I'm going to show you is also a competition which unfortunately got cancelled. But still, I think it was quite an interesting thing for a square in Plešov, which is area, a city next to Poznań, 70 or something kilometers from it. So the program was also quite difficult because the existing space was a direct old bus station with a bad car park, and it looked not too nice, and the competition rules wanted it to be a multifunctional space, but mostly paved with not that much greenery, and of course multifunctional and everything. So again, we tried to have a simple grid and create some furniture to control the zones, but the first thought was to have at least half of it working as a park. It could be paved, but the idea was that when you approach it, you should see greenery, you should feel greenery, even though there is a lot of paving. So the first idea is exactly dividing it into a square and into a park, but having every angle you can come from visibly green until you go further in. The main grid is 5.5 squared, again with the car module in mind, and the paving system tries to reflect which part of the square functions as which, because again we decided to go with a flat shared space. So we have a road, a square, which also doubles as parking spaces, so we don't need to paint them in, and we have the park part where we have a piece of greenery. But again, we wanted to work with street furniture, so we designed benches that could be used as a semi-auditorium, but also a pop-up sunshade again, made from steel pipes that would retract to the inside and be flush with the paving. And you could just pop them up and have a bit of cloth hidden within the bench, and then it could be assembled as a simple sunshade. So this is how it looks in plan. It is mostly paved, but then again the views work for it to look mostly green. And here's the multifunctionality we tried to achieve. So it could work as a square and have the parking requirements met, but also it could work as a farmer's market, which was a thing that town has every Sunday. So that's why we went with the pop-up furniture, so we could accommodate a small parking and then have these benches double as sales stands, simply with the sunshade and the rain shade also. And of course, events which would come from time to time could also have this space flat and have these benches working semi-auditorium style for these occasional concerts. And again, lighting is one thing we always try to think about. So here, these sunshades could double as a sort of a reflector for lighting, also trying to keep lighting pollution down to a minimum if possible. And the last thing I would like to talk about is urbanism in terms of research. We also do that, and we try to analyze cities and think about how to control the spatial chaos within them, which is a big problem in Poland. We do these analyses for clients, but we also do it just for fun, and part of it you can find as a published book, which I have wrote for it and won for a competition this year. So that's all. Thank you.
Hello, my name is and I would like to say thank you to Bert for the invitation. I've never been in Brno, but I'm quite a bit, I should shouldn't say surprised, but it's a great city. It's look amazing, almost like Austria. So my office is called UGO Architecture. I'm also from Poznań, and me, Adam, and Piotr, we was in the same class on the University of Art. And I showed the history about my office. It was study. In 2010 I created a fan page on the Facebook UGO Architecture. So I thought it was the start of the UGO, but it wasn't. Then I rent a place. So if you think or you have in mind that you should rent a place and you can afford for it, you should do it. Because when you have some cost, your perspective about architecture and how to afford everything change a lot. And you start to think how to get the commission in different way like you think before. So this is the office. I rented 2 years ago, and 1 year ago we became bigger one more again, but it's not a big thing, it's like 60 square meters. So we work like 4 people there. And now we are doing everything, yes, I think like most architects do competition interior architecture, and from this year exhibition design. I never thought that I will be making interior design because during the study I hated it. But when I rent a place, I need money, so I start to do it. So I will go through a few projects. We of course make a competition. This competition in Copenhagen. There's the church. There's another in Wrocław, some bridge competition. Interior design. This is the Pasteur in Warsaw. But currently we work about 2 houses. One is like this. Second, interior design. Maybe it's too fast, but the most necessary thing what I would like to tell is in 23 of September I get the email from Alejandro Aravena, and he invited me to make the installation on Architecture Biennale in this year. For me it was a big surprise because I never built some big project, and Aravena suggested me to show the project. I made them during the study. One is the water tower in Sudan. It is this project. And second project was the Let's Talk About Garbage. It is my master degree project. But it isn't about the garbage, but it's about the people who are dealing how to create the space for the people who earn money recycling garbage. So the first deadline when I give us was like 1 month later to show the sketch of idea what we want to show. So we thought that maybe we will not show the student, maybe we'll focus about recyclable garbage and exactly focus about garbage and process, how it looks like. So we've sent the first sketch of the idea, like we want to show the history of garbage, yes, or product, how the product changed to the garbage and then changed to the new product. So we sent a visualization like this. That's from the beginning we have the product, and then we show the history how it was changed. And we thought that it would be great, it would be easy to do, so let's do it. And during the research, our team became bigger. Like in moment we get like 10 people. So we have so many information that we suggest Aravena that it was the date we need to send another project and how it's changed. We show the plan, like we want to show the 6 continents, and on each continent to show the history of garbage. And also it's quite interesting how the garbage are moved around the world from different continents. Yes, because for example, Europeans send plastic to Asia and electronic garbage to the Africa. and we suggest the project like this, and Urbana told us that so many space we can get it. So I'm very lucky that he said it, because he got give us like 1/4 of this, and it was too much also. So it was idea to create like warehouse with the process, yes, like beginning from the garbage collecting, sorting, recycling. How the recycling garbage become a new product on the line. So quite easy to show it. So then we decided to go on the site, the Droga slums. It was the place where my diploma project were, and I know that in this place we can find all of the process of how people are recycling garbage. We went to the Mumbai. If you got some if you will be in Mumbai, you should go to the Derona. This is the biggest landfill. It's quite amazing, because it's 7-story high landfill, which is a lot of people, cows, birds. And we started to make a research how it really looks like, and then we realized that it's no possible to get the information. For example, which company take the garbage from the slums to change it to the new product, because nobody wanted to tell that I'm buying the plastic from slums and I'm doing, I don't know, for example, the mouse, yes, and it's happened, but it's confidential. And then we met a guy, urban planner from the Mumbai government, and he told us the most important thing, that in Europe you put every garbage to the bag and you don't care about it, and I think it's quite true. But in India we take your garbage bag, open it, and each of the piece inside is value for us, and we can change for the new thing. So it became our main idea of the installation. And we divide the space for 2 elements. One is the European part, it's the black one. So it also symbolizes the garbage bag. And the second part is the Asia part, where we want to show the whole process. And also during the trip in Mumbai, we recover the people who are change the garbage to a new product. So also the design wasn't as complicated as, for example, the logistic, because we decide to do it in Poland, then move to the Tronchetto as the part of the Venice. Then you need to put the trucks on the boats, move to the arsenal, and then you need to take a cart to put everything to the arsenal main exhibition space. And when we came there, our expectation was like this, and when we got to our space, it was like this. And this red boundary show that our installation is behind this wall, so I was very surprised. And this is the final how it looks our installation. You can see two parts of it. And first the introduction and invitation for the visit the installation. Then we have time. Then we create a timeline where we show the milestones product which create the most garbage. For example, we buy an original paper towel from 1886, and we try to put the main information on it, to like people can feel from where the garbage became. Also we create the map of the migration of the garbage, and then from the steel cage we start the whole process, and we create a play with the visitor. That's on the black wall. It's the 2 halls. That is a sentence below that if you finish your drink, you can put the bottle, and it's the start point, yes? Because if you threw the bottle, it's the change from the product to the garbage, and then from the Asia side, we try to show the whole process, how it's changed to the new product. And usually it is like European people send the garbage to the Asia, and then they came back in the new materials. So we sent to the IT construction company a file with the few questions, and 2 of them was quite important. One was, what's your statement about the sustainability in architecture? And second, how many waste you use in your new product? So it was quite easy to compare what you really do and what you real think. And we told them that we'll print exactly the same message that we get from them, and visitor can write, for example, sometimes the PR manager writes so strange things to show that they really care. So if any of you have any question, please ask me. Thank you very much.
Okay, I would like to thank for all the presentations. Now it's time for your questions. Questions of Czech audience. Maybe I should start with one more general question. Is there something special about architecture, about contemporary architecture in Poznań in comparison to other big cities in Poland, Krakow, Warsaw, Łódź, and so on? Could someone answer me?
I think that Poznań is the most boring city when we compare it to the, for example, Szczecin, Warsaw, Wrocław, and Krakow.
Why is that?
Because in Poznań we love bricks, like red brick, and it's not compared with the innovation. Also I think that our government in Poland, it was the time that cities a lot of investment, like they changed the airport, stadiums, railway station, and during this time we sleep, yes, like as a city. So.
Do you want to pose, unfortunately?
I think that we won't oppose what our colleague said, because those big investments were really bad spent money, and it was made because we wanted to have it fast for the Euro Cup. Some of it wasn't even finished for the Euro. We've got this very big roundabout in the city center, and the city told us that it's going to be finished for the Euro, and they almost did it for the last Euro in 2016. So, and the worst thing is that because they wanted to do it fast, they never thought about how to do it. So there's a lot of things that were just done once more, but not from the bottom. So we like to. We are pretty pathetic when we talk about our city in the last years, because there was some time when we thought it's going really in a good way, but it changed in the last years. So.
Self-criticism.
Yeah. You're welcome to see it. But there is one building that we really like, and it's finished it's being finished right now, and it was designed by so it's MVRDV or something like this, and MVRD. So you probably know them. Yeah, it's called Baltic Tower, and it's right next to this roundabout. So there is the good thing and the bad thing in the same place.
Yeah, so you have one piece of superstar architecture.
Yeah, that's true. But it's really good.
Okay, thank you. Other opinions or disagreements or agreements with this statement made by our colleagues? Yeah.
Personally, how many projects would you say you get by direct commissions, and how many of them are done by competitions? Like, what's the ratio, roughly?
So I can answer this because I work in a Polish Association of Architects, which is responsible for organizing the competitions. And we have 25 departments in the whole country. So in every big city is our association. And our department in Poznań is one of the biggest if we see the number of the members. We have over 500 members, architects joining our association. But for example, Szczecin is one of the smallest department of our association in Poland. They have, I don't know, 100, maybe 200 members. And they, during the last 4 years, they organized 22 big competitions. And in our organization, with our local government, we done only 2 for 4 years.
Maybe I would answer a little bit differently to add to what Magda said. In Poland, it's not very common to give assignments to competitions, mainly public procurements. So,
So I will take the mic. I really dislike it, in fact. The government works mainly with public procurements where you give a price offer, of course. So it's only 1 or 2%, maybe 5% at maximum in Szczecin that goes through competitions. And like in every country, approximately 40% is public, 40% is is office buildings or housing. The rest 20% is exhibition, private housing. It's very similar, I think, everywhere in the European Union in that manner. But we are not the country is not very accustomed to do competitions, and this doesn't make as well the result of the competition is better than a public procurement.
No, but it shows, the reality shows that it's true because Szczecin, one of the biggest competition in past years. One we have Philharmonic in Szczecin, perhaps this won the Roller this year award, and we have Centrum Dialogu, is the museum, public museum for solidarity, so the freedom movement in Poland, very famous in Poland, and they won World Architecture Festival Grand Prix this year. Polish architect Robert Konieczny. So in the last 2 years, 2 main architecture awards in Europe were in Poland, in Szczecin, from public competition. So it's the best way.
So you have a lot of catching up to do.
Yes. Yes. But I think our local government and our architects in our region, in Poznań, are very conservative. So if we have some competition, usually wins very safe architecture is it can be nice and functional, but it's not so special add value for the city. Yes. And the local government is very conservative about the public space. It's changing now, I think, in the last 6 months, but it's very hard.
So if you're a young architectural office, it's safer to know someone with money and get commission from them than try.
It's like everywhere, your first pass this.
Maybe you don't have to know someone with money, but basically the private sector makes available and makes possible the best architecture, I think. So the private commissions actually we have a bit of good architecture. We have Baltic Tower, we have the Pixel buildings in our city, which are really nice by Jens. It's not the public, again, it's mostly private capital, but the private capital does build really nice stuff and really nice private buildings and really nice office buildings. So there are quite a couple in Poznań, so it's not just gloom and doom, but but yes, mostly it's coming from private rather than the public competitions.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions from the audience? So I have another question. Most of you studied in Poland as well as in abroad, so could you tell us some information about the architecture schools in Poland? What do you think about it, about the education of architecture in your country? Or is it a dangerous theme to open such a discussion? I apologize. Okay, so sorry for this question. You don't need to answer, of course. I wouldn't be rude. Okay, so if there is no other question, I would like to thank you again for your wonderful presentations, and I would like to welcome you again in Brno and have a nice time here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.